My whole body's all wet. I was playing soccer, I'm all sweaty. I'm here with my little cousins and shit. They out here shooting shots up. You know how it goes. Whew. Shout out Jamin Jamal. World Cup just finished. New GOAT on the rise. You know, I remember watching every single game basically, and one conversation that came up with my brothers was, where the hell do they get these damn referees from? How do you just wake up one day and decide, yeah, when I grow up, I want to become a referee? Like the same referees that are, you know, officiating your little league games are the same ones who could be at the World Cup in a couple of years. So how do they separate a regular jobber like you or me who just knows the rules of the game from someone like a professional referee who is trusted to officiate the world's biggest sporting event ever, the World Cup? You know, everyone knows Messi, everyone knows Ronaldo, but nobody knows these referees, man, because they're just treated like ordinary people. There's a few famous ones, but for the most part, they're just a bunch of nobodies. So what, are they like former players who never made it? Are they just random ass people who know the rules like us? But actually, they got like 20 years of experience. The same way your favorite player has got mad experience, they got a lot, man. They just do it for the love of the game. You know, anyone can become a referee too. There's a very regular, clear-cut career path. You know, whether you want to be a main referee, a linesman, or one of those fuckers that sit in the back that just watch the VAR, the VAR, holy crap, this guy just blasted the ball out. You know, all these roles have different qualifications. You know, they may have started in some butt-ass Sunday league, but over time they work their way up the ladder and they make it to the World Cup. So what does that look like, you may ask?
He shoots and he goes in. Let's see how this goes in. And
fuck! The process is essentially the same no matter where you are, right? It involves some online modules and then like an on-field practical that everybody has to do, same shit. And then in the end, you have to write a test, and you have to know what the 17 laws of the game are. What are you coming into my shoot for, bro? Okay, go sit on that side then. Oh. Go sit on that side. You're so annoying. So where do you go from here? How does a referee really start officiating games? Well, you're supposed to, you know, sign up for the little house league games, little Sunday league. You don't need a big name or anything. You just gotta start at the bottom and work your way up the ladder. Almost like a corporate type of job. You know what I mean? You know, those early games, you're gonna miss a lot of calls. You're gonna miss a lot of fouls. You might blow the whistle too early or too late. You never know. Now, you could stay at that same level for as long as you want, that little house league, early stuff, you know what I mean? If you do, you'd probably be the only referee. You'd have to be able to watch the whole field by yourself, make all the calls, right? You go up to a more professional league, that's when you got a linesman, you got all those other assistant referees helping you out, right? But in the beginning, you're gonna be by yourself, making all the calls alone. Uncle might still have a couple tricks in his bag. Whoa! Ooh, hey, we keep that, hey. That was green. Once you get to like slightly higher leagues, more professional, more competitive, you're gonna start having observers in the stands. Observers are the people who watch how you officiate games. They watch how you referee the games, right? And the better you do, the higher chance you have of making it to the big leagues, you feel me? But what determines if someone's a good referee? Obviously, making the right calls. But the real way is with your KMI trackings. KMI stands for key match incidents. Big moments in the game. It could be literally anything. Essentially, the easiest way to break it down is there's some guy watching you and you're basically playing ranked refereeing, okay? Like there's gonna be some observers watching you and they're gonna determine how correct your calls were. They're gonna track not every call you made, but like the big moments, the key match incidents, right? So obviously you gotta try your best to make the correct calls, keep up with the game so that your numbers go up. It's like a score, it's like an ELO system. It's literally what it is. Now, obviously sometimes there's not gonna be someone who wants to sit there and watch a little bum ass game that you're officiating. So they might just like record it, have someone watch through it later, zoom through it all, and then that's how they determine how well you did as a referee. You ever watch a high-level chess game? Those grandmasters, they're playing off of patterns and things that they've seen before when it comes to their end games, right? That's why it's such an important skill to have a strong end game. They're playing off of experience and previous end games into the unknown. Being a high-level referee, you know, involves lots of anticipation, prediction, you know, knowing where the ball may go, knowing what kind of running angles to take to see crowds of people. These are all skills that are built off of experience and watching those historical games where referees had high KMIs. You know, it involves lots of communication, but also being able to take the pressure and the heat from the fans and also on-field players. And these are just the skills when it comes to your psychological fortitude. We still gotta get into the physical capabilities. You know, referees run at least like 10 kilometers plus when it comes to games. Sometimes they're running more than the actual players. You ever watch Messi play? That fucker literally walks around the field more than half the game. These referees are really out here running more than he is. Like, it's actually ridiculous. Being able to go up to a fast sprint, explode to keep up with those big counter attacks. You gotta be able to run for long periods of time. And these referees are actually demon athletes. A lot of the times they just couldn't make it to the league and they want to stay within that active career field. So they thought, fuck it, I'm gonna become a referee. Essentially, if you're a high level referee, you're also a full-fledged athlete.
Oh my goodness. Oh my.
The same way each continent produces different players, you look at North America, they produce those pace abusers who got butt fuck trash technical ability. Europe, on the other hand, they're producing technical monsters, absolute clean players. And then South America, well, South America produces motherfuckers that will die for their country. They die for the game. They die for the badge. They're not playing football, bro. They're playing American football. They're just killing each other out there. Depending on where the referee's from, they officiate in a different way. You look at North American referees, they're very by the book. They're also normally refereeing other sports because, North America just doesn't have as many clubs. North American referees are normally, they follow exact protocol. They're very robotic. They're basically a bunch of Karens, all right? They're gonna call everything. They heavily officiate based off technology, perfect consistency, and that's not a bad thing necessarily, but hold on, there's a bug on my shit. But it can be a very bad thing. They may not allow the game to be as physical. They're just overly procedural and it can make the game kind of stale or boring. Check this out. You look at the European referees, and normally, they gotta be a little mentally stronger than the North American ones, right? The fans get a bit more heated, more passionate. But their biggest good quality is the fact that they know when to not blow the whistle. They know when to let the game breathe. They officiate a lot more based off of feeling and the temperature of the game. Sometimes if it's a high stakes game, the players are gonna naturally be more aggressive. The refs in Europe may understand that a bit better, right? They're not gonna blow as much. Ooh, that sounded gay, pause. They're not gonna blow the whistle as much. I love my gay people out there. They focus heavily on like game management. The biggest issue with being by the book too much is you lose that feel for the game, the emotion, the tempo, the rhythm. That's why everyone loves watching the European football because they just let the game play, man. They let it breathe. They don't just read the rule book, they read the match. European refs have a lot easier time climbing up the ladder. There's just so many different teams and so many different divisions in each country, each city. It's so easy to just climb up the ladder. It's so much easier to become a professional there. See if he bangs it. Fuck. That was decent. Just fucking swerved this in. Now we get to South America. And honestly, there's not much to say. All you gotta do is watch the South Americans play, or you watch their teams play, whatever. They die for their country. They play like their mothers are tied up as hostages in a basement. They die for the badge. They are so aggressive, it is ridiculous. It's a different game. It's a whole different game. Referees who officiate in South America have to be able to handle that extra physical game. They gotta be able to handle that extra passion. Truthfully, the hardest thing when it comes to officiating in South America, you need psychological fortitude, mental fortitude. It's just that the South American players are way more expressive. They don't give a fuck. They will call out the referee, they will blow up, they don't care. It's low-key like a funny meme in the football community. Everybody knows, them South Americans, man, they be playing extra crazy. They be playing a different sport. I already said it. It's like UFC mixed with fucking soccer. It's crazy. Referees need that extra emotional resilience. When everybody's blowing up at you, when everybody's getting mad at you, yelling at you, throwing punches and kicks, can you still make the right decision? Not so easy, right? Especially in the heat of the moment. Now, obviously, I'm separating 3 different continents, and there are also other continents I haven't mentioned. But I'm separating them because they kind of have different philosophies when it comes to officiating games, as far as, the culture, the way the teams play, the way the referees officiate. But truthfully, the best referees are the ones that can do all of it, right? They can handle all 3 different cultures, all 3 different philosophies, and the ones I didn't mention, maybe continents like Asia might do it a bit differently, right? North America is more consistency, that's what it's more based on. Europe is the flow and the feel. South America is that control, that emotion. The best referees are the ones who can navigate any situation and know how to handle it all. So boom, after years of practice, promotions, fitness tests, a bunch of different garbage, you finally made it to the big leagues. And in the beginning of this video, I asked what separates a regular person like me that knows the rules from a professional like these referees out here. The obvious one would be that they actually studied the rules and they were, they're just more likely to actually know all the ins and outs. But let's say you know every single rule. You studied the same, the 17 laws of the game. You studied everything the exact same way they did. The way they train physically, they are intentionally training for endurance. And not only that, but the experience they get from all the different previous games, all the little games that they built themselves upon. Like they are able to see different angles, anticipation, prediction, again, like the chess analogy that I brought up. Not only that, I actually think that these referees would be really, really good in customer service. Like, I mean, oh my God, bro, how do you put up with these players just full screaming in your face? When you watch these refs, most of the time, they don't even get shaken up by it. Like there are people, fans saying egregious shit, the media saying crazy shit, the players on field, the coaches, everybody's giving these guys seat, but they never get shaken up. They're always able to just blow their whistle, put a card up, call it a day. You know what I mean? Like they can just tank it. Sometimes it's so unbearable. I know I would crash out. So next time you sit there and you say, oh, the ref made a bad call, fuck that guy, I can do better. Could you really do better? Knowing the rules and the laws of the game tells you what the decisions should be. But the experience, the positioning, the fitness, the psychology, that's gonna allow you to make those correct decisions when there's 22 players screaming at you, when there's fans, thousands and thousands of fans screaming at you. And not only just screaming at you, but they're trying to convince you otherwise. You know what I mean? Your fat ass is sitting on the couch watching, sitting just like my big ass is right now. So let's leave it to the professionals, all right? Boom, call it a day.